Scanning for audio.
Hello and welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. I'm going to be talking about Lovecraft investigations. Now, this series on Radio 4 wasn't always called this. It's had various other names. It was actually called the things that the stories were about. And you kind of went, oh, is that a Lovecraft story? And then you listened to it and you realised it was. But now they're just called Lovecraft investigations. They're not pretending. We're 4 seasons in, okay? Also, it makes it easier for everyone to find. So, this is Series 4, which is set 3 years after Series 3. And there are, now I need to check this, because I keep thinking there are 8 episodes, but I keep reading there are 10. And I've just finished listening to this, but I listened to them straight through. Let me just double check. Haunter in the Dark, 10 episodes. October 2023. I'm going to start off by saying a couple of things. First off, absolutely superb. Genuinely award-winning stuff, the sort of stuff that makes you go, you know what, these people have spent a lot of time listening to Big Finish, these people have spent a lot of time immersed in extremely good audio drama and they know what they're doing, and this is more examples of the same because this is just great. Number 2, don't bother listening to this unless you've listened to Series 1, 2 and 3 because, well, for lots of reasons. Mainly because you'll sit there and go, what? Hey, a few weeks ago I reviewed the Doomsday box set and I complained that there wasn't a previously on or here's what story so far. Well, that's absolutely fine and dandy. With this, absolutely forget it. There's one entire episode spent as a round table discussion. I'll talk about the format in a second, where the characters are all discussing how they got to where they are right now. And trust me, you can't be doing something else. You can't think, oh, I'll just shove it on in the background. Pay attention. I mean, this is like when the James Bond bit where you go, pay attention 007. That's what this is. This is pay attention, you will miss something. There are a lot of characters. There is a lot going on. And there is just gorgeousness. Right? If you're my age, or arguably around my age, let's go with that one. The chances are you played Dungeons and Dragons. That was your gateway drug. And then you got taste and style and started playing games like Call of Cthulhu. That was the gateway drug to Lovecraft and the world. Now, Lovecraft as a person, questionable at best. Lovecraft's works, however, they permeate through culture. They appear everywhere. I myself, let's not discuss what I'm working on, but you know from my experience, you know about Brother Signet and the Lovecraft stuff. You know it's really close to my heart. I just love these because what they are is they're the original Lovecraft stories retold and given to us. Now, last summer I set myself the task of listening to the entire fictional works of Lovecraft. You can download them, and I had an Audible credit, and for one credit I got something like 6 days worth of audio. Yeah. And The Haunter of the Dark didn't strike me as something that could be woven into the narrative of the first 3 seasons. And let's face it, at the end of season 3, one of the characters, well, I don't want to give spoilers because what I want you to do is go away and listen to all of them. Not just this thing that I'm reviewing now. I want you to experience for free, because they're all on the BBC Sounds website. It won't cost you a penny. All of them, all 42 episodes, because trust me, they are worth it. And something happens at the end of this box set that makes you think there might even be more than 42 episodes, because there might be a reference to something that existed way back when. But that's something I'm going to do research. As always, I don't want to give you spoilers, but it's based on a story that's 100 years old about a strange thing that's happening in a church, and people are fixated on a church that you can only see sometimes, and someone may or may not be hit by lightning. There's a lot of parallels with this adaptation. You can see the source material, but if you're not aware of the source material, forget it. You don't need to know it. Some of the names reoccur, and that's fine. But let's look at some more facts. You've got people who are known to you, my dear and probably attractive listeners, from Big Finish. You've got Nicola Walker appearing as a character. Let me see. Now, I want to get this right, because in my head, you know what it's like. Now, she plays Eleanor Peck. She's a recurring character, and she's the skeptic, but she's also the expert in the occult. She's kind of the person that I wanted to be in real life, but there's no real calling for that kind of thing. Your main characters are, let me see, I've got it written down. I know it's Barnaby Kay. Right, Barnaby Kay is playing Matthew Haywood, and he's the co-host of the Mystery Machine podcast, specialises in research and post-production of the podcast. And Jana Carpenter is Kennedy Fisher, and it's Haywood, long-time co-host. So basically, you know me, I'm a podcaster. This is about a podcasting people host show, and you're listening to the show. And it's done as almost a true crime show, but they're investigating Lovecraftian stories. It's genius. I mean, it's genuinely clever. It's created by, written by, and directed by Julian Simpson. And yeah, you know what? He's on Twitter. You can find him and you can thank him yourself, because it's just great. The last series won awards, and you know what? Those future ones will win awards as well. I am desperate because there is a throwaway line at the end of this series that tells you which Lovecraftian story, if you know your stuff, is going to be season 5. If there is a season 5, I'm punching there with excitement. If there's not a season 5, I'll be sad, but I'll also go, you know what? That's fine, because we know what happens next, because we know what that story is going to be. And let's face it, if you've made it 5 years in, 4 years in to a big project like this, and you've not actually done that story, kudos to you. Well done. That would have been too tempting for me, I'll tell you that for nothing. So, it's a fake podcast where they investigate strange goings on, and there's conspiracy, and there's all sorts of stuff. And if you didn't know your stuff, if you didn't know that it wasn't real, you could, for a moment, go, that all makes sense. And that's the scary bit of Lovecraft. I don't think there'll be a trailer, but what I am saying is this is free. You can go and find it, experience this. And if you've ever been dubious about Lovecraft and you've found the language a bit impenetrable, don't bother with that. Do this instead. It's understandable, it's cool, and it's just damn fine. And if you like the sort of people who appear in Big Finish, you'll recognise voices, and you'll just be very, very pleased. So until next time, be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. For early access to reviews, follow the show on YouTube or Twitter @Tin Dog Podcast. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.